Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. I'm going to be talking about some promising results from a blended inclusive teaching micro-credential, which is essentially just a case study of using Open edX for a blended professional development workshop. So one of the great challenges of higher education is making the classroom inviting, welcoming, and inclusive and equitable for both the students and the instructors. So we developed a project that tries to address this challenge. So we developed initially this parent project that initially consisted of a purely in-person workshop designed for postdocs to help prepare future faculty teach their students in a more inclusive manner. Upon receiving an internal grant here at MIT to develop Open edX content, we created a companion course site that essentially allowed anyone in the MIT community to explore inclusive teaching content without needing to participate in an in-person workshop. Then, by bridging the efforts of the Digital Learning Lab to make teaching with technology more effective on campus, with our department's strategic action plan around improving diversity, equity, and inclusion in the classroom, we evolved this project, both the in-person workshop style as well as the online course components, into this hybrid inclusive teaching micro-credential-bearing series. The micro-credential is a hybrid offering, so participants gather over 2 sessions and some independent homework, where they engage in solo computer work, large group discussions, small group activities, and focused around how to use reflective tools, thinking about one's own identity, and using that to inform the implementation of more inclusive teaching practices. So this is a bit of the course outline, and this provides a structure that allows the participants to navigate through the material in a way that's really well integrated with the session components. So the first session includes activities and individual writing time that encourage reflective teaching practices that acknowledge the role of our many intersecting identities on our educational experiences. The asynchronous online homework applies these reflective skills to allow us to dive deeper and to identify the more inclusive options when teaching. And finally, the second session activities really dives deep into some critical critiques of video scenarios of teaching and allows an opportunity for participants to create their own action plan for what they would like to try to do next. So we found that this blended modality really maximizes the benefits of both in-person and online instruction. But since this is an Open edX conference, I just want to briefly touch upon some of the ways that the platform really enables these learning activities. So in addition, or rather, because we can put some supportive and supplementary text, video, and resources online, we're able to focus the activities during the workshop sessions on things that really engage participants into deeper thinking without sacrificing content. And some of those activities include personal reflections. So throughout the course and throughout the workshop, we ask participants to take time to think back, to write, to return, to edit, and submit some open-ended responses to questions that probe deeper to get them reflecting about their own experiences in education. These personal reflections are graded upon completion and not upon content, and we find that this allows participants to really reflect and take time to engage with the material in a deeper way, which enhances the group discussions. We also include a fair amount of formative assessments. These formative assessments are scattered throughout the online homework, and they help prompt participants to think critically about the implementation of inclusive teaching practices. They have unlimited attempts, are ungraded, so it's a low-stakes environment, And they have these elaborated explanations that show up when you click Show Answer for each and every single assessment. And this is the format of the homework, and we find that that really enables participants to explore different teaching practices without the pressure of needing to know the right answer on the first try. So far, we've had 19 out of 24 of our participants earn a certification. This means that they attended both sessions, actively engaged, and completed the online portions of the workshop. And this was really helpful to have it be on Open edX because we're able to use the data download to easily determine who earns a certificate, how they responded, note their different kind of patterns throughout the course, and very importantly, kind of measure some learning outcome data, which I will share with you next. So we gauge participant understanding through pre-post surveys. This was a series of 8 statements where participants were asked to agree or disagree on a 7-point Likert scale over the 2 workshop sessions, and they aligned to these 4 learning objectives. So I'd briefly like to walk through some of these results. So in all the histograms I'll show, the light-colored bar corresponds to the pre-survey responses, and the dark-colored bars correspond to the post-survey responses. And the first set of pre-surveys addressed how awareness of one's own intersectional identity impacts teaching. And we found that participants reported gains in their own awareness, the empathy towards students, and their understanding and how intersectionality applies to becoming a better, more inclusive educator. The second set of surveys addressed participant knowledge and skills regarding the assessment and implementation of different teaching practices. And it's interesting to note, although we did not directly coach participants in how to have difficult conversations, still participants reported gains in this skill. And overall, I'd just like to note that we see this continual rightward shift in pretty much all of the survey responses. And the one that is most heartening is that the respondents know how to make their classrooms more inclusive at the end of the workshop. So I learned a ton from developing this workshop series and thought I'd just end my talk by briefly mentioning some of the successes, the promising results, and the challenges I had using the Open edX platform in this context. So my roses, as we kind of say, are that the hybrid modality really optimized the different learning activities such that we were able to maximize participation from our participants. We were also able to institutionalize this curriculum so that we don't have to worry about it being lost to time. And as I just showed, we gathered really important data on the learning outcomes, which further supported the importance and continuation of this project. Some of the things that I'm looking forward to, or that are buds, are that the modular structure of the Open edX platform allows us to continually add more content. This happens as we receive participant feedback, as we continually add more information. We're currently expanding it to some inclusive mentoring strategies, as well as incorporating participant testimonial videos as well. Also, by using a local instance of Open edX, it became accessible to the entire MIT community immediately. And this really is a boon, and we also have the opportunity of more globally distributing it if we choose. And we can also incorporate this material more directly into other courses on campus through the integration with the Canvas LMS. But not everything goes super smoothly, so there were some challenges associated with this project. For some participants, they were unfamiliar with Open edX, and so navigating through the course was a little bit hectic at times. And because we want to continually have the course open while also adding discrete cohorts of individuals that go through the micro-credential at the same time, we were really unable to find an elegant solution to do that in a way that cohorting was possible. And finally, video integration was a little clunky. We didn't want to rely on YouTube, and we didn't have a companion MOOC, and so we had to rely on Panopto in order to integrate our videos, which was less than ideal. So with that, I would just like to thank everybody that were really vital to the success of this project. I'd like to thank you for listening and attending. And I'd really like to invite you to come talk to me more, reach me at my email. This is a really exciting development, and I would love to further these conversations. Thank you.